You did mention that in your book that
Yeah.
your strength or your faith is tested through difficult times.
Yeah.
And did that experience somehow have an effect in your life with God? I mean, negatively.
Yeah.
Because now when you say why me God,
Mm-hmm.
you now start questioning God.
Yes.
You want to direct God.
Yeah.
Do this, do that,
Yeah.
do this, do that. When He is now doing things His way,
Mm-hmm.
like the Bible is saying, but His time is not our time.
Yes.
You know, He doesn't work with the biological clock or the clock
Yes,
that
yeah.
we use.
Mm.
But did that in somehow affected your relationship with God?
Fortunately, it strengthened my relationship with God. You know, it was a total revolution of how I viewed God.
Okay.
You know, I write in the book, I liken my relationship with God with the relationship between two married people. You know, when you say your vows, you say for better or for worse, in sickness and in health. And funny enough, we say those things because or when we are in a better space. Yeah, so when you get married to someone, you make all of these nice promises. But the test comes when eventually sickness comes in.
Yeah.
When the money gets finished, when the worst comes.
Yeah.
You know, you've been in the better and then now you're in the worst. It was the same thing that, you know, all along I hadn't experienced a lot of difficulty. So you could say you were still in the honeymoon phase. You know, when you're in the honeymoon phase,
It's just flow, man.
you can send me to the shop 100 times. So like, baby, whatever you want.
And you go,
I
eh?
will go.
Yeah.
You know, a year goes past, 2 years, 3 years, and no reality starts kicking in. You know, so for me, my relationship with God got strengthened, and that's basically what I was writing in the book on how my relationship was strengthened with God. Yeah.
Wow, it's a beautiful one. We will link the contents and where you can get the book. Sometimes God allows you to write a very, very nice book, very small. You can read it in a bus, you can read it when you're waiting for somebody. You can follow Chris on Facebook as well. It's Chris Lestoele.
It's Christopher Lestoele.
Christopher Lestoele.
Lestoele is Letsoele.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
No, that's nice. And Chris has another book, The Promise, The Journey, and the Travels. I attended your book launch when you were launching this one.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that this one is actually a brother to this one.
Yes.
How do the two relate?
If you look at the first book, I called it Sometimes God Allows You to Cry. How to develop your faith, hope, and courage in a time of crisis.
Yes.
So building up from there, I realized in this journey, you know, with God, working with God, there are a lot of things that do happen along the way. So I titled this one, The Promise, The Journey, The Travels. Can you still walk with God even when nothing makes sense?
Wow.
Because that's the crux of the matter. Our walk with God is not demonstrated when things are going well. Our walk with God is demonstrated when things are not going well. You remember the story of Abraham in Genesis 12. God comes to Abraham and he says, come out, I'm going to make a great nation out of you. At that time, Abraham is 100 years old. His wife...
Oh, you can imagine 100 years.
Exactly. He's an old man. The wife is finished. She can't give birth according to our current scientific explanations. But God says, out of that desperate situation, I'm going to make something great out of you. And many years pass by, and God comes to Abraham again and says, Abraham, walk before me upright. But God, you said you'll make me a great nation. I don't have a great nation now. You're coming back, you're demanding, you're putting another demand, walk before me upright. It still doesn't make sense. How do I walk before God? upright when my situation doesn't make sense. And that's where we lose it if you look in the current environment of Christianity that we live in. When things are not making sense in our lives, that's when our walk with God has to be demonstrated. Because I talk about in the book about what I call microwave Christians.
Oh yeah.
If you look, we are told these days, no, pray and bambi izinto zakho, you know, izinto zakho ziyeza by this time next year, and
all the things.
all this. I'm not saying those things are wrong. When it is the timing of God, izinto zakho yazibamba. When it's the timing of God, by this time.
Between the two books, what can you say to somebody who wants to read both the books and somebody who's now watching at home and they feel like, you know what, your story is actually the same as their story, or they can relate to your story? I know some of the quotes that we have on this book, they are on this book as well. Now, what can you say to somebody who's going through a difficult situation?
Actually, I think for any person out there who's going through a rough patch, it's good to read these two books in totality. Yeah, so read both books because it will make a lot of sense in your walk with God. But whoever is going through a rough patch now, is that I've been there, I've seen God, and I know God. I usually tell my friends that if there was a title in the church or in heaven, I would want to take that of God's spokesperson. So that I know, I speak about what I know, I've been through, and what I've experienced in my walk with God.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching this video for today. I think it was very, very informative. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, share, comment.
Yes, share, and comment.
And like, subscribe as well. See you next time.